They sent me to St. Elwin's Monastery in the spring of 1732. I was 21, a scribe trained to transcribe holy texts with precision, patience, and, as Father Vincent liked to say, purity of mind. St. Elwin's was the kind of place nobles sent their broken sons to be quiet. I was told I'd find solitude there. I found silence, but not peace. The monastery sat high in the Pyrenees, built of grey stone that bled with mist every morning. The air was colder than expected, even for spring. Inside, it smelled of wax, paper, and old bones. 20 monks lived there, 21 with me. None of them smiled. The daily rhythm was strict: morning prayer, transcription, silence, evening mass, and for one monk each night, the candle watch. I asked Brother Odlai about it once. He didn't look up from the parchment. One must always stay awake, he whispered, so that it does not. I asked what it was. He dipped his quill and didn't answer. I first saw the candle on my 4th night. It stood alone in the chapel, a thick black wax taper centered beneath a shattered stained glass skylight. The glass hadn't been repaired. They said it broke during the last winter storm. It hadn't rained for months. That night, I watched Brother Matthias begin his candle watch. He knelt, eyes locked on the flame, hands on his knees. When I woke hours later and crept past the chapel, he was still there. Only the candle had gone out. By morning, Brother Matthias was gone. They said he'd left in the night. His cell was empty, his bed still warm. That day, my manuscript changed. Where I had been copying a psalm, the words I wrote were wrong. The letters curled unnaturally. I hadn't realized until hours later that they looked ancient, older than Latin, something closer to runes, but none I recognized. I tried to show Brother Odlai. He stared at the page and quietly said, "Burn it." I asked why. He turned pale, because now it's looking at you, too. The next night, I couldn't sleep. Around midnight, I heard scratching sounds, soft, rapid, like a quill against stone. I crept from my cell and tiptoed to the chapel. Brother Lucien was on watch now, but his eyes were closed, lips moving silently, and the candle was burning blue. The flame twisted against the windless air, casting shadows upward. I stepped closer. Lucien's lips stopped moving. He turned his head toward me, slowly, then opened his eyes. They were entirely white. I ran, but when I looked back, he was still, kneeling, unmoving. In the morning, Lucien was gone too. No one explained. No one looked surprised. Instead, they appointed me as that night's watcher. I tried to refuse. Brother Odlai took my hands in his. They were trembling. If no one watches, he said, then it remembers it's awake. That night, I knelt in the cold chapel. My breath clouded before me. The black candle stood tall, unlit. Brother Odlai lit it with shaking hands and placed the matchstick in my palm. "Do not speak," he whispered. "Do not sleep, and whatever you see, do not look up." He left. The candle's flame swayed without air. I stared for hours. The light hummed faintly, like it was breathing. Time bent. My eyes ached. And then whispers. Behind me. Around me, dot above me. Not in a language I knew, but I understood it. It spoke of forgotten things, of teeth behind stars, of saints who bled shadows. My hands were ice. I pressed them against the floor to ground myself and felt pulses. The stone frog beneath me, like something enormous, was just beneath it, breathing. I looked up, only for a second. The stained glass skylight, the shattered one, was whole, but on it was no saint. A mass of eyes, wings, and bones looked down at me and smiled. When I blinked, it was gone. The candle sputtered, went out, and something behind me took a step forward. I awoke in my bed, covered in wax. The other monks were gone, each cell empty. Only I remained. In the chapel, the black candle was new again, and a small plaque had been affixed beneath it, in red ink, written in a hand just like mine. Someone must always watch. Now I sit here each night, staring into the flame. If I move, it whispers. If I blink, it breathes. You ask why I don't leave? Because I saw what waits above the glass, and one night, when no one watches, it will come down.